And there we are. Welcome to
Hello,
EMP.
everyone.
Hello.
Hi there.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, I just need to fix cameras, so carry on talking while I do that.
You just need to. All right. I'll distract them.
Yes, still don't see them.
Do not look at the screen. Right. Okay. Since Fantas is doing stuff, Saren, how are you doing today?
Not too bad. It's the weekend. Can't complain. Thank you.
Good. Fantas,
Busy.
or are you too busy? Too busy. Okay. Well, we'll go to our guest of the week, Vulong. How are you doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Yeah. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
A little bit about myself, you say?
Yes. Or is it all
Uh.
secrets? Not allowed to know.
Well, I guess everybody knows that I'm a koala.
Fair enough.
That
fair
is
enough.
awesome, Mike. Do you have any friends that are kangaroos?
Oh, my face finally popping up into place. There we go. Right. Fantas, are you sorted now?
I am now. There we go.
You are
Everything's
now,
back where
right.
it should be.
How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. Been very busy getting all the
Very
graphics
good,
and stuff
good.
done.
Excellent. I'm hoping everyone's liking the fancy new background we've got going on.
Yeah, it was all a bit last minute, but it came together quite
It
well.
was
So
very last minute. It was 30 minutes ago you posted that in the message area. It's very last minute. Right, let's get this thing on the roll. Let's start off with probably the most controversial change that's coming up, or the biggest change: the fuel and dodge. Basically, according to Hughes' announcements on a cockpit show about a week ago, fuel is no longer consumed when you dodge. What do we think about it? Big change.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, I truthfully, I think well, maybe I'm just so used to it requiring fuel, but it seems that it's making it, the skill level go down to me.
Yeah, that's what I feel. It feels the strategy's kind of just been sucked out of the game a little bit. That's how I feel.
Yeah, because I mean, it used to be that, well, you obviously wanted to dodge as much as possible to dodge the enemy fire. You at least still had to make the choice, the tactical decision, the whole meta, I guess, of the game, and that if you dodge, then you don't have the fuel to boost around or to fly or so on. But now it doesn't really matter at all, so there's no reason to weigh that option against all your other ones. It's what I see is wrong with it.
What about balancing? I mean, there's something we have to definitely consider. Balance has always been a problem with this game for a long time. How light mechs have always been superior and whatnot. It's gonna bring, in theory, it's gonna bring all the mechs on par to the Scout, which is obviously the most dominant, or one of the most dominant light mechs out there.
Yeah, but at the same hand, a dodge from a C class compared to a dodge from an A class is still vastly different.
Yes.
You're more effective when you're an A class dodging. So now you have an unlimited dodge, yes, for both, but which one is more effective? The Scout. So if anything, I think they should have just given more individual fuel levels to each mech if they really wanted to balance it that way. If that was their goal. But I don't know exactly what they were trying to do with that. At least unless I missed that somewhere in the patch notes.
Another thing I was also thinking of was, what about the Scout's ability? I mean, isn't that going to be kind of rendered slightly useless? Well, not quite as useless. It's not going to be as useful since you don't, you're going to be having most fuel most of the time, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, but no, it wasn't. Isn't that kind of a good thing that it's been nerfed a little bit? I mean, I don't think that's a problem. It's not making the mech any worse, but that fuel then is used for getting out of there, boosting away, escaping, and I think that's what it's supposed to be in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see a problem with that. What do you guys think?
As I say, feel free to chip in.
yep, sorry, I was looking at something else.
Boom goes silent.
I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to change the dynamic of engagements. They're trying to take away that having to worry about another fuel thing, and they're trying to make it more of that constant movement, which is how the game felt. Certainly for me when I first played in closed beta 2, was the movement was key to it, and then they started adding fuel and making other limitations on that. and then it started moving away from what I really enjoyed in 2, which was much faster movement, much faster engagements, and having much more of a focus on your positioning in a game, in a match, or in an engagement over than watching a number.
Yeah, Roger, I agree.
No, anything else we want to say about it?
Well, I don't know. I'm not really glad about the whole idea of remaking the game over and over again. I mean, which time is it already?
Yeah, especially since if you go by the numbers that they've been giving us out, we're pretty much at the end of the open beta. The game should be going out soon.
Yeah,
if I
should
dare
be.
say it.
It won't.
Might
It
curse
won't.
it again.
It'll be another year, and then it'll be out.
Yes, okay.
But that's it. I mean, they sit there saying, "Oh, we want to be testing and doing all these changes, seeing what we can do with the game, find the balance point." And it's just been going on for so long. We've been through so many different stages of the game where it's just been vastly different. I mean, this is just the next one where it's going to just change the game's meta and really change it up. But hopefully it's the last one. Hopefully it's the one that sticks. Hopefully it's the one we'll all have to get used to for the future if we decide to stick around. And hopefully it'll benefit the game the most. But hey, we can only hope.
Well, keep fingers crossed, I guess.
Yeah. Right.
As always.
Move on.
Alright, sounds good.
The other thing on Dodge, sorry, before we go, is the change on the actual cooldown timings as well, because that's changed. So A class is 1 second, B class is 1.2, and C classes is 1.4. So that's shifted a bit as well.
So any question of balance, in my opinion, that's been shot out the window.
Well, it's basically back to where it was before. I mean, at the beginning of the open beta.
Yeah, but if you manage to parry a long enough time with the mech, especially in A class, then eventually you'd run out of fuel and you'd have an easier time of killing it, which is gone now.
Well, but the health has dropped as well. This is the thing, all these changes, they all tie into different things. You can't think of just one change on its own. There's a whole load of other balance sitting around it. So a lot of this we can talk about it, we can speculate. We're not really going to be able to say, this is how it'll feel until we're actually playing it, because then you see everything around it. But the health has dropped massively as well, because certainly from the last cockpit when Manor mentioned the health, the A classes have gone down to around 300, 350. So yes, there's more dodging, but if you get that hit of a shot, there's a good chance you're going to drop them half in health just with one hit.
See, it just seems to me that we're going back to alpha. That's what
I want my 1500 HP max again. Yes, please.
I remember back in alpha, like that's where the A classes were at, were they? They were at something like 350 health, I think. I think they were. It's been ages.
Well,
it's been over a
depending on
year.
your combination, you could get something a bit crazy. But yeah.
Oh yeah, but we're talking about the non-existent, useless optimization system that is long gone now. We've completely forgotten about that. But yeah, it just feels like we've gone through all this testing, all these changes, to expect progress in the future, just to be returned to something that feels like alpha. And I know we've been shouting about alpha was the best, but hey, it's a bit late because we've just gone through shit, mind my French, just to get back to where we started. That's in a less buggy state, I guess.
But I guess maybe then could you dare to say that they're figuring out that the base game is what made people enjoy this in the first place?
Yeah, I know. But I kind of figured that would be left to alpha, but I guess open beta will do.
I think things are a bit simple here because they simply don't know what they're doing right now.
No, they don't. It's like as if they've all got dog's tails and they're all chasing their own tails.
Yeah, but then that begs the question: is the advanced battalion or whatever still going on? And then who is telling them that this is the way it should be changed, or is it just them trying out new waters every time? I sincerely hope it's not the second.
They said they will keep the thing, but it happened to be only one time. I mean, there was only one stage in the past year.
Roger. So that might explain it. Is that they're not getting anyone else's feedback?
But they said we're gonna use that again in the future. which we're not doing actually.
Yeah, that's not happened yet. So I think that's also part of the problem is that they're just putting out changes to see how it affects us, and maybe they got some special god statistic that can tell them if it's better or worse. But
Well,
I
that's
don't see how they get that.
something I want to look into. Then throughout the year, they've gone on saying, "Oh, we've got the data. We looked into the data. Apparently, the data tells them everything." I want to see this data, this magical data that tells them everything and allows them to make these decisions.
It'd be nice
Instead
to
of
know.
looking at our feedback.
Yeah, it'd be nice to know exactly what metrics they track and how they track them, because there have been some interesting decisions that have come out of nowhere, and like
And according to data.
yeah,
It's
tying the
interesting.
infiltrator's ability to fuel is just like, where the hell did that come from?
Well, maybe there is data at all. Maybe it's just publisher's wish or something like that.
But then we come across the controversy of apparently Meteor and adhesive are the same thing. Oh, mind blown. I remember hearing about that. That was funny. We still don't even know. It's so secretive. We don't even know who Meteor are. Who are they? We don't even know where they came from.
It's one of the 12 families.
Yeah.
Yeah, start wearing your tin hats again.
I'm doing that next time. I'm wearing a tin hat on stream. Right. We extended that a little bit. Let's move on. Okay, we have the entire progression system having a bit of a change up again.
Cut out.
Yep. Let's
Yeah.
see. We'll start off with the removing of tuning. They're now, semi-removal, I'll say, because it's technically still there. It's just they only change it. I mean, how's this going to affect balance and so on?
So, if I can go first, I don't think it's really a problem game-wise. I don't think balance-wise, I don't think this is anything worse than what it was. Since they're saying that they're making them at levels that would keep them balanced in games. That's fine by me. I think the loss, in my opinion, and this may just be because I'm a player and I'm not a dev, is that you lose that cool little feeling of tuning your Mac and making it a little bit more the way you want it to be. And I guess that was a pull for some people in the game. Maybe it's just me wishful thinking, but I remember people in forums going, "Oh, I like changing the mechs. I like having more health on mine and being able to do whatever I want." I don't know. It just seems like getting rid of that was not making it any more fun, even if it did keep the game more balanced.
Yeah, share the same feeling because that's basically less customization of your Mac, and I'm actually was a big fan of that and was really happy when they introduced that system because you could really make your Mac unique.
Yeah, Roger.
The
And now
issue,
it's just gone again.
so the issue I had with it. That's better. The issue I had with the tuning system, and certainly the system before that, is when we were talking about it in the forums of suggestions of what we can do in terms of the customization system, one of the things always came up is if there's going to be a benefit, there should always be a deficit on the other side of it. The major issue with the tuning system is it only ever had benefits. So it was always going to be, you were always going to end up with a situation where it was going to be, right, this build is best because there were no negatives to it. It only ever makes you better at what you're doing. If there were a negative side to it, then I think it'd be much easier to say, actually, hang on, there's loads of different ways you can do this, because if I go for this thing, I'm going to lose out on this. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, Roger, but I think whenever they originally came out with that, everyone, a lot of people said that as well, but I and some other people also said that the whole deficit is that you simply can't buff something else, and that you're not as much, it should be just such a small degree, is that it should be made to make your system more specialized, not actually better. And I think the problem with that is that they realized the mistake with going to the vertical progression over more of a diagonal, even horizontal sense. I mean, the original optimization system, yes, it changed your mech, but how much did it change it? Very little. And I think they're trying to get back to that because that makes the game more balanced.
I mean, I'm still of the opinion that if you're going to change your mech, you should have some kind of negative effect as well as positive, which is why I am of the opinion that we should bring in a system similar to Steel Lance at Arena International, which just basically works with sliders. You moved a certain slider towards one side, you probably gain more damage output, but then take a loss of fire rate. Just an example. I'm still of that opinion that that'll work best.
But in the end, doesn't that? I mean, you're still gonna have cookie cutter builds, like I think
Yeah,
was said in chat.
But
I mean, you're
it's
gonna
not going
find
to
the
be
best
it's not
way.
going to be the tuning system though, is it?
Yeah,
I mean,
but
all you got to do is just make the numbers small as well. They're not going to be massive amount of numbers. If they went all the way one side, you're not going to get like 100% damage or something ridiculous like that. You're going to make the numbers small.
Well, we could have also implemented something like a weight system, for example, and then there wouldn't be any need to change the basic alpha concept of the game. I mean, at all. Just make some weapons weight worse, or make some weapons weight less, and also make chests and stuff like that have weight as well, and not just be, you know, just a different skin for your mech.
Oh, so change it more to a complete inventory system, governing everything.
For example, if you want to have, for example, EOS and Tau launcher on your mech, you have to go for the chests that have more power, but less armor, for instance, or something like that. And that could have worked, I think. That would also give more customization possibilities, and there wouldn't any need to remake the game over and over again.
Yeah, Roger, I think that's a good idea.
No, is that one cleared up then?
Clear as mud, yeah.
Clear as
I guess.
Right, we're gonna move on to the return of test drives and the removal of mech unlocks, or as we know them. It was such an interesting change that they made with this new mech unlock system, and all the trees and one all looked so fancy. It was all so interesting, and now we're just throwing it right back to the previous thing. It just feels like a waste of time. That's why they're supposed to have in-house testing.
Not really, to be honest. At least I didn't like the thing about spending money on ability improvements and stuff like that, because that was just stupid.
I agree there.
Yeah, but in response to actually the mech, because you can no longer get a mech for free, right? Did they get rid of that? Or was that still?
In theory, that's what they're supposed to be doing. You no longer just proceed through your ranks and eventually.
Yes, so in that respect, that never, obviously I don't think it affected any of us because we have all been playing this game for a very long time, so we
just got an extra mech out of it.
Yeah.
Another tech, yay.
Well, I still have 5 copies of like almost every single mech in my garage, but you don't realise how much it costs to outfit them all. But anyway, I don't see how that affected us at all, and the guys have been playing the game for a while, which I'm sure is a good portion of the community. But for all the new guys coming in, I think what they should have done is that, yes, I understand the reasoning behind getting rid of the free unlocks, because that is in some ways a loss of revenue. But at the same time, maybe make it so that you unlock, like, say, you have 3 mechs after your first mech, and they're each like in a specific kind of field. You unlock one of those for free, so you get a taste of what's coming up next. And then from then on you have to pay, so that you still make it easy for new guys to be able to progress, at least at the beginning. So you can give them a taste of what the game is, so they don't get disencouraged. And then from there, then they'll obviously earn them themselves. I think it was that they went one way, 100% swing of the pendulum to giving out everything for free, and now they're going back to what they did. I think there needs to be something in the middle, if only to keep new people coming in.
Yeah, definitely interesting. About your point about how it doesn't affect us. This also just gives me an idea of why don't we just start asking the noobs? I mean, they're the ones who are currently going through this new system, because obviously we're not. I mean, what do they think? What do the noobs think? All the new players think? Well, we don't really know, because there's no questionnaire for them to fill in. They're probably not going to come onto the forums. I mean, there will be some. How do we know if they like the new system?
It's a hard choice, actually, because you either do something that the old players want, either something that the masses want. You can't just please everyone.
No, that's true. It's true. Which is why we need the competitive scene, and we can split the two communities.
Yeah.
Competitives can have what they want, and casuals can have what they want. All we need is private servers, and everything will be fine. I'm going on
Yeah,
about it
well,
again.
that's the thing, though. You don't need to split them. There's an easier
Oh, you
solution
do.
than that.
You do.
No, I disagree.
Yeah, because private servers, you should be able to have whatever settings you want, and therefore you can have whatever rules you want. And casuals, they can just go on the public servers. I couldn't care less.
Yeah, and that should all be able to be done in the same work time. I think if they put that in, I'm sure there are casual people who want custom servers and so on, and that brings us back to the original point that there should be private servers in the game. But I think that's been murdered and talked about more than ever should have been.
Yeah, and I'm going to murder it some more, don't you worry. Anyway, probably moving on. Matchmaking apparently had some improvements. Have we seen these improvements?
I have a different qualm with that once we're done discussing it.
Well, hard to say actually, because on the UK servers it didn't make that much of a difference.
No, don't make much of a difference when you just use the server browser.
Well, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
go ahead, mate.
Actually forgot that matchmaking even exists, so sorry, never mind.
So, I'm guessing this is, we mean all the stars and all the stuff they put in, right? Is that what we're on?
Yes, I guess.
Okay, so this is once again a clan problem, so I don't know how many people are dealing with this, but for us, and I'm sure BSB and VR and all those guys are having the same problems, is that unfortunately with this new clan system, not only are we not able to make teams and make who we want on what team and that kind of thing in match, which we haven't been able to do for a long time now, we now simply cannot get into a match altogether because the way the ranking works, we cannot have all of our guys together because they're obviously not all the same level. In addition, won't let them in. And parties are the same thing. It pushes parties apart, that kind of thing, if they're different rank levels as well. So pretty much we're unable to do anything anymore together in Hawken, is what this matchmaking update has done to us.
So join on friend, that kind of stuff doesn't work.
No, because it used to be that a friend would bypass the ranking, but no longer. So that doesn't work as well.
It's just such a mess.
Yeah,
it really is.
I think that's the nail in the coffin for any kind of competitive gaming beyond maybe 3-on-3 or 2-on-2 or 1-on-1, because you simply cannot get everyone in unless they're the same.
If only we got private servers such a long time ago, we wouldn't be talking about this problem with competitive scene, because it'd be there, it'd be living, it'd be alive. Anyway, so has it actually worked? Does anyone actually know if it worked, these improvements, or is it just not really?
From what I've seen from this public play with just a couple guys and so on, it seems the matches are a bit more balanced in that everyone is on the same kind of level, so I think it did do something, and I think the star system at least gives people an idea better than the MOR did, at least what match to join, so I think it did help out in relation to public play. But beyond that, no.
My question is, if they want, I understand the star system. It's it's a good idea. It gives someone an idea of what's going on in the server. Why not actually just show who's in the match and who's on what team, and their ranks and whatnot?
Well, it would have been great actually.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Because
you could just easily see, oh look, that's not very balanced. I won't be joining that, or you just go into it knowing that it's unbalanced.
yeah, and actually this star system doesn't really tell you much. I mean,
No.
if it's 1 star, you can't tell if it's too bad for you or too good for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. It only says, oh, it's bad for you in particular. It doesn't say, well, is it because I'm overranked or is it because I'm underranked? I don't know. And also, there's another thing. It said I went to a match with 2 stars on it, and we just had like a massive mashup of bottom rank players and top rank players. So it didn't really tell me much. It just basically told me the match is a mess, and clearly not how it's supposed to be.
Well, yeah, I think that's the other problem. It only helps people who are coming into the match. It does not balance the match once we get in at all. And that the matchmaking logic in switching teams is god awful still.
Well, once again, I think that's because the UK community doesn't have enough players right now, because how much people are playing that every night? I mean, every day.
I went on about 8 o'clock, obviously just before the show, and there was about 2 full servers and one nearly full, and that's the one I joined, and that was the one that was a bit of a mess.
Yeah,
Well,
so
yeah,
that's
most of
many
the
as I
time
see.
There's never go ahead,
most
Mike.
of the time it's somewhere around 50 people at max.
Yeah, it would be. A lot of times, whenever we have our practices, we're the only guys playing Missile Assault, it seems. It's really, TDM is the only thing
I
we
haven't
play.
played a game of Missile Assault in ages, and I used to love that mode.
Yeah, that's what we play on
It's
Mondays.
still the best mode, in my opinion.
Speaking of modes, Siege got a few changes. If anyone's ever played Siege, I highly doubt it.
It
Ah,
plays the same, basically.
Plays
Well,
the same.
actually, if I have to disagree there, I think it's become actually a bit more futile in that since they've now made it that the ships shoot at each other once they're 25% of the way, which actually I approve of. I think that was a good design change. It does bring up the problem that now there's not a reason to actually protect your ship the other 75% of the way. It doesn't matter if the ship goes anywhere. So the entire mechanic that the game was based on, and that your ships travel and you have time to shoot them down and so on, it's pretty much negated since it does the same amount of damage as it continues on its path. So right now it's kind of only half a game mode. If anyone realised that.
Yeah, but still, it's the Siege game is basically about Russian DA
Yeah, Roger.
from
And I
one
think-
direction, and
I think that they could have done something more with it. I think it should be more of a tactical mode. There have been lots of people on the forums over the months that have posted ways to make it more complex, or at least more of a different kind of mode than just a TDM on the AA with runners.
yeah, what we should have done is add more objectives. I mean, not just control the A, but control something else.
It needs to be
Yeah,
more of
I'm
a...
a fan of the multi-silo with multi-ship launchers. That's what I was a big fan
What
of.
about from the very early alpha footage where we saw some type of standing towers that you could go up to and activate? I still want to see them in the mode. I think they'd be interesting. Like, you could spend EU. I think that's one of the problems with it, actually. They give you EU and there's only like one thing to spend it on. I think they need to put more spending of EU into it. And also they turn it into a MOBA or anything, just something on the map to buy, perhaps.
Yeah, well, that's why maybe send mini battleships or like fighter ships out.
Yeah.
If you put in EU.
I
Or,
don't mind seeing fighter ships.
yeah, I mean, there's lots of things you could do, and I think also they could add a cool dynamic with the battleship itself. Is really it's just a graphic in the air that shoots. If they could add like drop in, like you jump off the battleship, that's a new tactical option, or that kind of thing. I mean, there's so many different things you could add.
There's just there's all these ideas and they just don't do anything. They just rebalance the battleship a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly. I think they're focusing too much on what's there already and not how they can make the game mode really what it's supposed to be as the flagship mode of the game, which it's really not anymore.
If only the devs watched this show, they would just learn and come up with so many ideas. Anyway. Right, let's see what else we got. Oh yes, here's a minor one. Avatars have been brought in, yay, and they're disappointing as hell in my opinion.
And the crowd goes
Yeah,
wild.
because
I
And the
didn't even
crowd
realise.
goes wild.
I must have missed that. When did they say that?
Hughes mentioned it
Oh,
on the other cockpit show, the US one. I
has it
believe
been put in the game yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It's as disappointing as hell. You know why? We all thought they'd be able to connect the forum account to the game, which they already have done, as we can see with how much currency we have of the two currencies. And you thought, oh, maybe we could upload our own avatar and it'd appear. And no, we're just gonna get
yeah,
some preset one, and it's just
That's disappointing.
just a little bit. I mean, after how long of waiting for it to finally be activated? I mean, how long do we have to sit there staring at the profile thing saying, oh, avatars, they're coming soon, and it's been over a year, and now they're only just getting added, and they're not very good.
yeah. Well, I guess the only hope for us is to have at least the clan tags instead of those.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. Why are clan tags so hard to add in? Just give me clan tags. It's
Yeah, I
not
mean,
hard.
Hawk does it, so why can't
Yeah.
we have it?
Well, to be fair, I'm trying to think that might be part of just their name, but then again,
No,
you
that
have-
was part of the issue of them introducing that, was the fact that people could imitate being Hawk. and that was a major issue for them. So they had to
Well,
find a way to get around
yeah,
that.
put in a piece of code that says that's
Yeah.
not allowed.
If you
Yeah,
do that with
it
names,
goes
you know,
along
this
with
name's
the whole way
not
they've been doing
allowed.
things.
Oh.
Or just yeah. Sorry.
Well, there's always a report button, I guess.
Yeah. And there's always just implementing a system. I mean, you could have a little joke there. You typing in that, and it's like, ha ha ha, funny, good one. Oh, trying to be a dev, are you, Mr. Goody Two Shoes? You'd have a little joke there, but no. Just choosing opt not to get them in the first place. So yeah, they're disappointing. I can see we all agree. What else have we got?
Well, I think if I can actually add something, granted, this is an idea, so
Ooh.
I'll never see it added, but I don't know who here plays Planet Side, and I don't play it anymore, but...
No,
I have
played
done.
Planet Side.
I did. Well, Planet Side 2. Planet Side 1 was a good game, Planet Side 2 is not. But anyway, the one cool thing that they have in that is a player studio, which for guys who do not play the game, is pretty much where actual players submit different kinds of art, so camos, decals for the different, and camos for like the soldiers and tanks and so on, and then decals can put them on as well. And these guys submit them, and then there's like a guy in charge of the office down at the Planet Side company. And he looks at them and chooses the ones that are really good, and then they actually get put into the store to be bought, and then the people who make those decals actually get paid a percentage of the money that the company makes off of those decals and camos and so on. So I don't see any reason why Hawken would not do the same thing. They can use that for both the camos, because as we've seen, there are some talented artists in the forums, but also just to make avatars as well. If they don't want people to have their own in case there's bad avatars or whatever, then maybe add them that way and give people at least more choices that are more interesting. Or at the very least have them vote on avatars submitted by the community. I mean, there's so many ways you could do it, even if you have your heart set on not letting us put them in there in the first place. It's just silly to limit us to a basic avatar. That doesn't really mean much of anything.
Dicks everywhere.
Well, yeah, the idea is great, but I don't think we're gonna go, for the whole kind of make a camo and get money for it, I think. But it would have been great to just have some kind of, painting studio where you could just paint your mech as you wish with the different. Well,
Yeah, but I'm
with
sure
different
there's also people out in the community that for free, just for the sake of actually seeing it in game, would be happy to submit in like a contest or something. I mean, they've had contests in their past. It's just, maybe it's just a missed opportunity is what I see it in my mind.
There's a lot of those missed opportunities in this game, isn't there?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't have to be so pessimistic about it.
maybe a bit too much.
Anyway, apparently the mech ranks are getting reworked. I can't remember how. Where's that post?
Sorry, say again.
Apparently the mech ranks are getting reworked.
Aren't we just gone?
Mech ranks will simply act as a representation of your player time. They'll just act as an avenue for customization and weapon options. The ability to purchase and upgrade has also been removed. So
in other words, you can get everything at day one, is what they're saying.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's fine by me. I prefer that.
Unless they're just restoring it to the original system where you just rank up and there's nothing to unlock. I really don't know.
No, well, I don't know what you mean. I'm guessing they're keeping the mech rank. Well, no, they got rid of that as well.
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I
It's
really
hard to
don't.
tell what it means until we see it, but it doesn't sound like it's really going to be all that important. It's just another number.
Damn you, Zamboni, not being clear.
And they're still keeping the pilot ranks, right? With all the stuff that's unlocked by them, I'm assuming.
I can't see anything here about pilot ranks, so I can only assume.
I guess the status quo then.
Anyway, what else have I got on here? Time to kill drop. There's a little subject. Now that's interesting actually, because haven't we got we have got an upcoming TK drop, haven't we, with the drop of health?
There's an effective one
Yeah.
with all the changes that have come in, yeah.
Yeah. What do we think? unhappy? I mean, we've been fighting to get it up, and it's just going to be lowered again.
Well, considering we're going to raise the speed of the game a bit, I think that's a reasonable thing to do.
Yes, definitely.
If that's what their thinking behind it is, then hopefully that'll be fine. I mean, I'm still a fan of higher TTK, but I don't think it's gonna
Yeah, I may as well.
anything.
I guess we need to see what the new movement options and changes do, because if they're effective in terms of prolonging a combat in that way, then the TTK will go up in line with your skill and ability to play the game.
Yeah, even if the health goes down.
Well, it depends actually, because I'm kind of worried about, the Alpha Strike thing.
Yes. Definitely, I agree.
I think it's something that you have to see more once we get in game. It's hard to tell from patch notes in that respect.
No, but still, if we're gonna to decrease the basic health, we should tone down the weapons as well.
Yeah, they've said they're going to do that, make adjustments, because the major issue with Alpha Strikes is things like the detonator and HE grenade, that kind of thing, which are supplemental to your weapons. If you adjust those relevantly, so they just become an additional bit of damage rather than that essentially a pocket rocket.
Yeah, Roger. Konak just popped in.
I was about to say that myself. That's
Go
an
ahead,
interesting
mate.
point. What about turn speed increased by 50%? That's a welcome, I guess.
I thought it was 15.
15?
Yeah, it seems a bit drastic.
I don't know. I haven't
just
heard of
misheard
this
it.
myself. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, nevertheless, it's an increase. And we'll just go for the fact it's an increase. Is this good? Is this bad? Because I can only assume it's good.
Well, if stuff's going to be moving around more, which I guess is why they made the adjustment. If you've got more movement, then yeah, you need a greater speed to be able to track that to compensate for it.
Again, going back to Alpha, I think this is.
Yeah, but for Necklace, I think it doesn't gonna do much.
What about for the C classes and B classes? You think it'll do much for that? Them, even?
Only for C class, I guess.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I've never ever found myself wanting an increase, so maybe it's just because they're going to be moving, everything's going to be moving faster. Then I see no problem.
Right, that's all my topics wrapped up, I think. Has anyone else got anything to throw in or wish to talk about?
Recent changes to the tech?
I really couldn't care less.
I
don't know.
still say the first nerf was all it needed, but some people are just die-hard anti-tech.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen the tech today. He was healing me fine. He was healing everyone else fine. It definitely had an influence on the game. I don't know if we just had a spark of skill or something like that, but it seemed to have some kind of influence. So yeah. Who knows?
Well, because I think they actually buffed it, not nerfed it. Because its basic healing increased, and well, I don't know. Tech was never an issue to me, and I saw no reason in changing it at all from the very beginning.
I don't see.
Yeah, I think, from a standpoint of competitive play, which granted is killed, whenever you have people working together, the problems of the tech that most people talk about in the forums, at least, really become negligible. So I really don't see the point of nerfing it or buffing it at all anymore. But if it still seems like it's viable, then I see no problem with it. That's what I've found so far, at least playing.
Yeah, I think we could have just changed the ability long ago, and I don't know, maybe then people would have shut up a bit.
I'd still, though, like to see a prestige weapon on that mech.
But what though? What?
That will surprise me.
Hellfire.
No, you tell me.
The
You
flame
tell
Something
me.
we've never expected. I mean, that was the
Saren,
mech.
you're supposed to be telling us this. You're the dev around here.
Well, I'd like a tank turret. That's what I'd like as the prestige weapon, but that's not going to happen. But I would. I mean, they added the tech as a total new dimension to the game. Why not add a totally new weapon, if only to make the forums mad? Why not add it? Something would be cool. I mean, if at the very least, just try out something that they think might be interesting in the game. Since, I mean, it's not an offensive mech in the first place. That's just a quirk of mine.
Right, I'm assuming we're just going to go into the question territory now.
But before we do that, I'd like to let everyone know I did find another MC code. So I
excellent.
will be giving that out.
Nice.
So once again, anyone who asks a question will be getting one entry into the contest, and then I will put them all in a special number feeder thing, and I'll give them out. So
I've already seen 2 questions. Oh,
I believe
Karnak
asked one, and who else asked one?
There was one in our little post. Let's see. Yes, Aragon. He asked a question, which
The only
I'm
one.
about to bring up at some point.
Alright, so those 2 already have one entry, so as long as you're asking a good question, I'll put you in. Only one entry though, per guy, so feel free to ask more questions, but only one
And
entry.
no, how much does not count as a good enough question?
A lot. There we go. Amazing answer for an amazing question.
How much is this?
I think it's a base code. I wrote down the number on my computer and now I actually have a code on me. So I'm assuming it's one of the 3,000 or something like that, MCs.
Anyway, well, while our viewers think of a question, we did get one from Aragon on our forum post. You're able to add 3 new mechs to the game. What kind of mechs would they be? Anyone want to start on this very on-the-spot question?
I could have just go to the forums and find my own suggestions, I guess. But, well, I don't know. Let's just say it like that. Something for crowd control, something for, I don't know, something with a lot of rockets, but not fat and not flying. I don't know. As the third mech, I would have actually changed Raider a bit. I mean, just replace all of those joke shotguns and making the range on the MIRV Unlimited, and that would be it.
Fair enough. Fantas, do you have any ideas for new mechs or anything referring to mechs?
The only idea that's kind of ever stuck around in my head is some kind of area denial, that kind of thing. So like a mortar fire weapon, something that has to sit at the back, spend a little bit of time, and fires off a salvo of rockets or whatever, dumbfires them essentially. So something like that would be interesting.
Yeah, my question to that is, like, it does sound like a really good idea, but it's always boggled my mind of how the hell would that work? I don't know how it would work. Would it be like you hold down you hold down the fire button and then you come up with a little hologram that like moves forward as if you're charging up the power for, and it'll show you where it's going to land? Would you go into a seated mode and you come up with a map and you choose where you're shooting at? I don't know how it would work. That's my big question, is how would that work?
Couldn't you just do it like a grenade launcher kind of thing with the reticule, that the higher you aim up the farther, and then your angle as well?
You can use the mouse to change the angle, and then you essentially click and hold to change how much power you're putting into the shot. So charge and hold, similar to how the EOC works, but it affects how far it fires rather than anything else.
And would it in theory, that system work on close quarters maps? Because with all the walls and whatnot, I mean, you'd have to be aiming up, which is putting you at a very big vulnerability because you can't see anything around you.
But I think that's the whole reason that there would be a downside to the mech.
I just thought that it wouldn't be very good in dueling, full stop, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, no one said. So I've seen people with the tech rip people to shreds in dueling, and some people still to this day say the tech is the worst offensive mech in the game. So I think people could figure out a way if they're given the ability, the tools to do so. But I mean, maybe what they could do is they could have almost a switching in weapons. So I know they always love to add those. So you can have either a weapon that does, so you have to place it down more of like a mortar and then fire it off into the vicinity, or you can have more of a blind fire thing, where you don't know exactly where it goes, but you have like more of a larger explosion, so like a pinpoint versus an explosion. So depending on the situation, you decide which to use, that kind of thing. Anyway, there are a lot of good questions. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I actually
Yeah.
did manage to find my own suggestion.
Excellent.
Yeah, so should I just read it?
Yeah, sure. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead, man.
Yes, so Aragon B-type oppressor is designed to exhaust enemies and control their movement by constant fire. So basically, a mech that fires all the time, not all that hard in terms of damage, but really annoying in terms of, I don't know, in terms of stuff that is going in your face, if you'd like. Oh, that's it, I guess.
Sounds good. That does sound interesting.
I can just post the link to it, and if people are
So
interested,
it
they
kind
can
of sounds
watch.
like a more of a suppression mech, if I understand right.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that sounds cool to me.
Yeah, it does. My idea, I know we're only going on one idea and not the whole three, but my idea is actually properly implementing a actual D-class mech.
Yes. Yeah, a tank.
Yes,
A tank.
a tank. Basically, the idea of introducing this D-class, it's only one member on the team can use it at once, and it can only be used when a certain requirement is fulfilled. So, I guess in Siege's case, you just charge up the EU. I don't know, and it's basically just it is essentially a bit of a tank, and does dish out some heavy fire, I guess. But it's a bit more, it's slower, fatter, whatnot. I don't know. I just think that might be cool. I mean, we've seen in Alien, poor example, but Alien Colonial Marines, they had that kind of system where you got like a bigger alien kind of thing. I think something like that might be pretty cool.
Well, yeah,
This
but
is what you want, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
just what I want.
where
want a
does it
D-class.
where does it put us in terms of balance once again?
Well, that's it, isn't it? That's the question we've all got to ask: is balance.
Yeah. Also, I'd actually like to see a C-class with not the stupid shield or turret mode, but with the with the cannon of some sorts. You know, like the big one.
Some sort of railgun or something.
Ah, Roger.
You know,
Well,
so
for
it would
me,
actually be a turret, not just a shielded total. Well, anyway, go on.
Um,
if I have an idea, and this is totally out of the blue, and it was actually something I just came up with recently. But what if we all have, I guess, the art style in this game is that more you have to be two-legged mechs. But what if you went with something like a four-legged mech, that it's the difference between it was that it still had two weapons, but that it had like a 360-degree turn. So you controlled it with the movement, but then you can actually turn the turret around on it any way you wanted. And it could still have boosters in the bottom of it or something, so be like a four-legged mech. I don't know. Just seems like something cool.
I want to see a multi-legged mech. I really would. I mean, one of my other ideas that I had a while back was they have a multi-legged mech that's able to climb up the sides of walls, and it can't really fly like normal mechs can, but it has the advantage of going up the sides of walls and whatnot. I mean, we're going into crazy territory now.
Imagine that in Uptown.
My God.
Jesus.
Oh no, on Origin, whenever you plant one of those super tall towers, just rain down fire.
I guess all the invisible walls will get in the way, though.
Yeah.
By the way, the field asked about shields. I mean, the changes to it.
I like it the way
What
it
about
is
that?
right now, but the way that they're going to make it so that your fire cannot come out or out of it anymore. Is I think what they were going to do. So I don't remember if they were saying that it'd be only some kinds of fire, so like only rockets or only missiles or whatever, and then others could still go out of it. But I personally don't think they should change it. I think it's good it is now, and I don't think it's the only one ever used. I definitely see other items used. But also, if you make it into just a big fat bubble that you can't shoot in or out of, why not? It almost takes away some of what makes the blockade effective.
I think
That's
you'll just see people stop using it, in all honesty, apart from very specific applications, or if you're really, really trying to piss everyone off.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I mean, especially since once you do that, then you're just a big ball. If you put it on yourself or on a friendly, I think it's fine the way it is.
Well, you
If
can't
anything,
stick it to
I'd
anyone
like-
with the change they're doing.
Roger. Okay. Well.
So yeah, it's just a shield on the ground.
Yeah, I personally would like the old CB closed beta shield, if anything, but I don't think it should be added. I think it should stay the way it is. So yeah, bad choice.
Right, we're heading towards the end, aren't we? If we can.
Well, I got a whole bunch of
oh.
questions I was copying into my notepad.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just noted
excellent.
a few down, and we've got someone else to
Yeah,
talk to as well.
First
We have.
one is, Crafty Dust asked, what mode would you prefer for competitive play? So TDM, Siege, or Missile Assault?
Well, my original intention or idea when back in Alpha was, I want to play this game competitively. And what was the mode that was shown off the most that looked really freaking cool? Siege.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to see as a competitive mode. But look how that turned out.
I always liked Missile Assault. That was my favourite mode, so I'd say, and that's what my clan at least plays the most, at least competitively wise, when we can. So
Yeah,
I'd say
same
Missile
here.
Assault. How about you, Fanis?
I didn't really see all the videos and things when I came into Hawken. I just kind of landed on it from another forum where someone pointed it out. So my impressions were from playing the modes and playing Siege. I just went, well, this is a clusterfuck. I'll go play Missile Assault, which actually works to some extent.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. And yet, not many people play it. In the
It's the
casual
best
sense,
game
at least
mode.
in
I
my case.
don't know why
It is.
people don't.
I agree. It is the best.
Yeah,
You don't need to have a
I
competitive team.
guess everyone just got bored with it, because back at the open beta start I remember many people playing it. And I was one of them, actually.
Alright,
Yeah.
next question, if we're all good. Saturn9 said, have you guys discussed your opinions on an official 1v1 game mode, whether balance for it would be a focus, or if attempting balance between mechs for it is a foolhardy, pointless, a bad idea? So, what do we think of it, and should it be focused on?
What was it?
The
One versus
1v1 fight club, pretty much. That's what I assume he's saying.
Well, I guess it should be done in the, ladder style, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be that hard. There's lots of good places in the maps already that you take out. I mean, every time we do a fight club, we're always using a part of a map, so I think it should be definitely added.
They've already introduced, they already have those walls. I mean, they could do something with the walls, like they could wall off certain parts of the map to keep it one-on-one in a small area of the map, and you could perhaps have that. Oh, then they could have it randomly generated, so then you'd be on a random part of the map, locked in a small part of the map. Oh,
Yeah, if
ideas.
they really wanted to do it cool, they could have like all the fights going at the same time, or you could have, and then have them all fighting in different parts of the map.
Like
walled off.
old-fashioned gladiator style.
Yeah.
I think Saturn's
And then
question was
each
more
time they
about.
die, they're up.
Sorry, Saturn's question was more, I think, directed in should they be balancing for it though? Because yes, it's a cool mode, but I think the reality is, if you're going to want to play every single mech in it, then there's a lot of balance that would need to change at that point. Because Hawken is fundamentally a team game, isn't it? So
I disagree. Well, go ahead, Vanis. I'll let you finish.
well, yeah, the reality is I think every mech should be capable of fighting every mech. And there are exceptions to that. A tech, yes, you can play aggressively, but it isn't designed to be played that way.
Yeah, but I think to balance a game for a 1v1 mode in that respect is one, a bad idea in my opinion. But two, while Hawken is a team game, whenever you're playing public play, when you're playing with pubs, it still a lot of times boils down to 1-on-1 or 2v2. You don't a lot of times have a 6v6, especially in TDM. So I don't think that you need to balance for that. I think people will choose the mechs they want to use in that game mode. But truthfully, whenever we have our clan fight clubs, yes, some people always go for the same mech, but we have almost every single mech in each fight club. No one just always goes for the best mech because there is no best mech, really, for 1v1, in my opinion. Especially as you don't know who you're going against, which is half the equation for choosing a mech. So no, I'd say they shouldn't be balanced.
Yeah, I agree with you. So.
Alright, anyone else on that, or shall we get to the next one?
I never really played the 1-on-1, so I can't really say.
Missing out, Mike.
I guess I am.
I would also like to see an ability to invite any person to the duel, 1-on-1, outside of the game mode.
Slap them with a glove and challenge them to a duel.
Yeah, because if you want to do that, you should usually go to an empty deathmatch server and then wait for a game and just hope that no one else interrupts you and stuff like that. I think it would be easier to just make an ability to invite a person to a duel, and that's it.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Next question, I guess.
Alright, next off is from Phoenix Strix. Do you feel there should be do you feel there should be any forbidden weapon combinations in Hawken? Include weight class if relevant to your answer. What he means is like the Vulcan and the KE Sabot, Sabot, for instance, or the Rev GL and a Rev GL, or Hellfire on something or other. Anyway, Hellfire on A class, that kind of thing. So, thoughts?
See, then we delve into the territory. I think we're going to slightly delve into the territory of what about the idea of heavier mechs get heavier weapons? Like, why do they have the same weapons as the lighter mechs when they're clearly bigger and thus should be carrying heavier weapons? That would be my question.
But the balance of that is the lower classes have lower health. So if you give them heavier weapons, then you're just doing alpha strikes.
Trying to balance having different weights of weapons is going to be absolute hell, for lack of a better term.
Well, at the current stage, yes, but if they would have gone for it from the very beginning, then it would have been fine, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they could always just wipe the slate clean again.
Yes, I guess.
But I mean, I think... I don't know, I think also it would take up a lot of time making separate versions of each weapon, especially since they really just do the same thing, just I guess bigger damage or bigger ammo capacity, which doesn't really matter in this game. I think it's just a waste of time in the end. I think there's better things to work on.
Private service.
Well, obviously. But other than that.
The recent rebuilds that they've done, though, have been aimed in allowing them to do things like that, to spec different mechs differently. So I think they've got a system now where they can do it, but the thing is, balance isn't just about a case of how much damage a weapon does and how much health an opponent has. There's more to it. There's the whole movement thing as well, which is the reason that A's have that ability to move faster and to dodge more often as well.
Yeah, Roger, but that's being slightly negated by unlimited dodges, but we already went over that.
Everyone's got unlimited dodge now.
Yeah, but it's still unbalanced, or unbalances the game, or makes it easier, and in my opinion, unbalanced. Anyway, any other thoughts on that, guys? Should we go on to the next one?
The only thing I was going to say about weapon combinations that possibly shouldn't be valid, I would say 2 burst weapons. If you have a combination of 2 burst weapons or 2 sustained weapons, I just think that's a bad way of leveling out a game. You should have a burst weapon and a sustained weapon. That's just a general sense.
Are you saying
I
like do
agree.
all of the same kind of weapon? Or just generally burst weapons and burst weapons in particular?
I think just having that kind of combination of weapon of just being able to have all your damage completely front loaded.
Yeah, we'll do it. Alright, next off then, from Karnak and his channel. Do you think they should import servers in my garage to decrease my ping and get back?
Yes.
Never mind.
Yes, Molfor, do that. Amazon clearly isn't working out for them.
Well,
Get them in Karnak's garage.
before you give them all to Karnak, I actually have another guy, Culex, thinks they should import them to Iceland to increase the number of Hawken players playing in that region. So now we have a real hard choice here. I don't know, Iceland versus Karnak's garage, which is about the population of us, Pennsylvania, right? Well, both those questions do not count, unfortunately. So, Karnak, you're already good. I believe you asked one earlier. Culex, you might have to ask another question if you have one on you. But that's also all the questions I got. I'm just looking through chat to see if I missed any.
So we
yeah,
don't get any more anytime soon. We've got to bring a little guest down and have a quick talk with him.
Yeah, just to respond to what Defect just said in chat, yeah, I mean, like hit scan burst, so that instant burst of damage that just happens instantly. Having a mech that has two weapons that do that you can just fire simultaneously, it's just bad game mechanics as far as I'm concerned.
That's why we have such a problem with the EOC on the Infiltrator.
Did you say you were going to bring our other guy down?
I wish I could, to be honest. I'll poke him and tell him what the password is.
Okay.
Three guests? A guest? Yes, a guest. I can't read tonight. A guest, yes.
User joined your channel.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Hello, Demax.
Hi
How
guys.
are you doing? How are you doing?
Hi, Mark.
Yes,
we
we
can
can
fine.
hear you.
That's nice. I'm fine. Well, actually, I'm quite sad because of the 5 or 6 games we've played. I was on the victorious side 0 times, which means I was.
Well, isn't that welcome to Hawken Night? It's good to have you.
So yeah, ask questions. I don't know what I was supposed to say.
Yeah, I mean, what really just want to talk about it because you did the UK scrims today. Just how it went basically. Did you get good numbers or?
Yes, we had like 12 people, quite enough. We had some funny games, which were nothing like American scrims because we just didn't know what to say in TeamSpeak. Like it was, that guy is down, that guy is low on HP, and no one knows where those guys are. So it was funny and weird. I don't know, I liked it.
That sounds good.
Well, I assume that's because you guys didn't play together that much, not like Americans.
Yeah, valid point. But we just don't know how like locations on maps are called. So we don't know the points of reference. We don't know. We can say that guy is on the bridge or AAS1 like that and nothing else. So not much information to obtain.
Okay, what game modes did you play then?
TDM, nothing more.
Okay.
Still, it should be better next time, I think.
The next time is tomorrow, so if any one of you 4 guys, for example, want to join, feel free.
Okay.
Yeah, probably should be about. So do you reckon it's something you'll keep doing? Do some more of them? Make it more regular or?
Well, I don't know. Right now it's going to happen every day, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe we will have 3 times a week screens, something like that. I don't know. For now, it's every day.
Well, there you have it. If you want a good old scrim, get on TS. Which TS is it, by the way?
BSB.
There you go. Get on the BSB TS. I'm sure anyone can join, and get down to tomorrow's scrim. I can tell you that team games, proper team games, are very fun.
Yeah.
And that's why we're all sat here waiting.
You said that you weren't on a team that won at any point. Were the games? Did they still feel balanced though?
Yes, they were all very close, like 1-2 frags away every single game. So V009 carried like every single game. So he was, I think, the best player. And yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I think anyone who saw that he was taking part could have told you that.
Oh yes, so I guess you achieved your goal after all.
So did you guys just have random teams, right? It was just whoever got on which side? You didn't try to do anything?
Me personally,
Just overall, with it, just you guys popped into a server and then that was what it was?
well, it was exactly the same way as American Screams happen of action. If you saw even one, you should know. I think pretty much everyone who's watching EMP right now probably have watched at least one stream of their screams, so they know, I think. Basically, we have the matchmaker distribute us between two teams, and then we distribute ourselves in the TeamSpeak into two channels, like the teams. So we speak to each other. And well, there were no much strategy to that, but it was fun.
Right, roger that.
Also, speaking of the upcoming update, it's going to make the game faster, and I don't know. Right now, the game is freaking fast, especially the last one on Origin. I just didn't know what's happening. It was so fast, everyone was dying. If it's going to becoming faster, it can be quite messy. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say that when you've got a group of players who know what they're doing, and you know that everyone in the game knows what they're doing and how to play, it can be a very fast game just because everyone just keeps an eye on everything and is all over a combat as soon as it starts. So it'll be interesting to see. I think for a lot of us that have been around a long time, the game in the moment is slower than it was when it started. So it's possibly, I don't know, how long have you been playing, Dermax?
Since June,
Okay, yeah, so yeah, you're probably more used to the slightly slower builds. So it'll be interesting actually to, after the update, to get an opinion from you actually of what you think. If you've not been playing as long and you don't know the faster build, just to see what you think after it. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. If a lot of people know what they're doing, then it can be a fast game.
well, right now I can say that the fuel converter will be an outdated internal, I think, because dodging doesn't take fuel. I mean, why would you need the converter? And the air compressor will be a must, probably, because it will grant you so much mobility. That's my initial thoughts.
Okay.
So yeah, please join tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and every day to have some nice games. We have a spreadsheet on Google Docs for participants. If you want to join, shoot me a personal message and I'll add you and give you the link. That's
Okay,
it.
cool. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
there you go. Simple as that.
Awesome to hear, mate.
Right, is that it for tonight then? Wrapping this
I'm
up?
just putting the numbers in now.
Oh yes, we know it's a little contest.
Just make sure I'm looking through the chat one more time to make sure I didn't miss anyone.
By the way, Fantas, what is that sign behind you?
Ooh, I
Looks,
missed
looks
one.
familiar.
So Pross Industry, that was something that Errathic did ages ago. I used it on the last one as well.
Yeah.
Alright, from Horror. Who here likes spicy food?
Me? Like a good curry.
Yeah, and then what is your favourite spicy food? I'll add on to that.
I don't really have a favourite one, I just eat whatever.
Funnest.
There's a curry place the other side of town that does a really good chicken boona, and that's really nice. That and my manager is an Indian, well, Pakistani, so he cooks very good food as well.
Roger. I am a secret lover of wasabi. I can eat that thing by the spoonful. But anyway, that's mine.
Wasabi. I guess you didn't watch the commercial.
Yeah, I remember that, don't worry.
Alright, so I think Horok, I think that's everyone.
Do all episodes of your show end this awkward? Maybe you should have some ending, for example.
Yeah, so we're waiting on Saron to give out the code thing.
Sorry, I always feel terrible if I miss someone because they have a chance. Okay. I almost got it.
But yeah, they do all kind of just end.
Yeah.
The big explosion and then it's just over.
Yeah, we haven't quite got the budget that the other cockpit show has.
Yeah, we should have like a song or something.
Yes, we should.
Totally.
Okay, well, the winner is, drum roll please.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
That was pathetic, but alright, the winner is Saturnine.
Oh,
Congratulations.
dang.
mate.
Oh, great. As if he needs an MC.
Hey.
So he'd like to graciously give it to someone else since I'm sure he has already way too many media credits, but if not, I will send it to him. That is the winner. The RNG gods have selected you, mate.
Fantas, you better not do this. This singing is awful.
I know.
By the way, you can end your shows with "Don't Worry, EMP." I think that's quite a great song.
Oh, it is an amazing song.
Yeah, I think I'll
have
have to dig that out and
my
use that
playlist.
actually. We can sort that out for next time.
Yeah, we have to give a credit to Hobo though.
Yeah, of course.
You should also do a Timothy moment.
Alright, nice. No, that's Saturnine. Don't worry about that, mate. I'll send it to you. You did win. So
There
I'll
you
pop
go.
you one in the forums.
Right, okay, well then, unless anyone has got anything else to say, I think we'll call it a night at that.
Good night, all.
Yeah,
Hope
have
you
a good
enjoyed
night,
the
guys.
show. Do
Yep.
post feedback in our little.
Yes,
our
we
little-
love reading feedback. It's
yeah,
why
I want
it's half the
feedback.
reason we do this show.
Yeah, I don't get enough feedback. I want more. I want to know how to improve the damn show. I refuse to accept that this show is perfect. Give me feedback. And if you want a guest next time, hit me up with a message. Please,
Yeah.
I'm in need of another guest. I don't have another one lined up at the moment.
If you've got a webcam, it's a bonus, but don't worry. And thank you to
Yeah.
Vrulong for joining
Yeah.
us.
We don't always have webcams ourselves.
Yeah, and I was kind
No,
of...
the worst you get is just Fantas just looks at you. Just gives you a look of disgrace. That's all.
Yeah, and I was kind
His
of
hair also looks at you.
tired and sober today. So if I screwed up anywhere, sorry please. I didn't want that.
Don't worry, you did fine.
Yeah, it was a great job. Alright, have a good night, everyone. Thanks.
Yep.
Night, night.
Good night, all.
See ya.
Cheers.
Take care, guys.